So, Steve, you're new to our little group. What do you
I am
do?
new to this. I am all about incremental self-esteem in the world. Wow, there's echo like crazy.
Wow.
You guys all hear the echo?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, it's coming
Oh, I
through a
can hear
little bit.
myself.
I don't hear any echo.
It must be on your side.
Yeah, it might be coming from yours. I don't know if your speakers are turned up a little too loud. Sometimes you can get feedback through your microphone. So
Do you have an earphone or a headset, Lisa?
Oh, Lord. Yes. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. And while we take a break from Lisa,
Might get some pole dancing later.
no pole dancing on this side.
What?
I broke an arm once. I pulled something and I can't talk about. Oh, no, I have a talent development company here in San Francisco. And it's not like when most people think about models and actors, they think about, famous models and actors or supermodels and things like that. But, we're in a commercial market. So everyday people doing everyday things are what commercials are all about. So I attract a lot of people who are, everyday, real people who have zero idea of their value in this industry. So a lot of what I do is helping people who are, moms and grandmas and grandpas get into doing commercials and doing commercial print and voiceover and things like that. And it really does truly increase their self-confidence, because a lot of people think after age, 50 or whatever, that their best days are behind them. They're becoming more and more invisible all the time. And it's my passion to help them understand that, how they look now is so valuable, not just, of course, to an industry that will pay you for your image or for your, your acting, but what it does, it changes people and helps them feel like, well, as I look right now, it means something, and I can provide value, and I can have a lot of fun. And so that's part of what I do. And then the other part is I go all around the world speaking in front of usually groups of women. Eric, you and I don't have the same issue, but we do in some ways, about their camera shyness and about how to use their images in their business, in their everyday life, and to provide a legacy, a photographic legacy for those who love us. Because when we're gone, there's no more head trash. It's what we left behind is a photographic or a videographic legacy for people who love us, and that's what's really truly valuable.
Yes, it is true. Yeah. How did you learn how to teach them that?
It came just kind of out of the work that I do. Honestly, it was kind of a progression. One, my grandmother bought me my first camera when I was a kid, and I told the story a lot. But basically, when my grandmother bought me this camera, she became my favorite model. And as she grew older and I got into my 20s, she stopped allowing people to take her photo anymore. She went back to her bedroom. And 15 years later, when she passed away, we didn't have any photos for her funeral that were current. And I always tell people that 15 years prior is when she photographically passed away. And it was kind of sad, but not only for us, but of course for her, because she loved having her photo taken when she was younger, but she felt like she didn't want to be represented or seen that way anymore. And
what gives your confidence? Never mind you posting somebody else's. What gave you the confidence that you could teach somebody else to be like that?
It's an exchange of energy. It truly is something. I get so excited when I see people have these mini victories of what they can either do or how they look or how they represent themselves. And the more people who I've worked with in the past, because in the 80s and the 90s, it was all, I'll be honest, perfect people, white people, young people. It was very different in the advertising world.
Modeling the 70s. Look at
right,
them
well,
now.
I'm a granny. I'm a grandpa. I'm 51 years old, and
I've got you,
it's and I was involved in the business then, but these days, you see health and wellness ads, pharmaceutical ads, technology. I mean, there's people who are over 80 even and doing ads and doing commercials and doing voiceover and doing even I'm not talking films and TV, although there's lots of older people doing that still. But, you know, in the market that I'm in with the people I work with, it's watching them go from feeling like their best days are behind them to feeling truly empowered in this kind of serious hobby that we work on. When it comes to people in business and entrepreneurs and people in the corporate world, a lot of the people hide behind logos and they hide behind older photos or even, you know, really old photos for their online presence or their marketing. And I just tell people, you know what? We're the only ones who obsess. Yes, Lisa.
No.
Still can't hear Lisa.
So sorry I took this over. I just kind of jumped in
At
here.
least the feedback
No,
stopped.
fine. No, keep talking. You know, it's good.
And so, you know, I go to London about twice a year and I speak on stages. I go to Vancouver, Canada. I go to New Mexico. I go to Prague, and I speak to these like groups of, you know, 400 people, and I had them all stand up and take my photo on stage. And I'll say, you know what? You just created 800 photos of me, and I don't care. I'm excited about this. Go ahead and tweet them. Go ahead and share them. It's helping my brand. Pardon me?
Next time you come to London, give me a shout. I'll come meet you.
I will. I'll be in there, I think March or April, I believe. I'll be coming back again next.
That's pretty
Lisa.
cool. It's about an hour away. So, yeah.
Lisa. It's frustrating, I know, to have that.
Lisa?
Still can't hear you, Lisa. We can see you. But,
Do you have multiple microphones, Lisa, that you can choose from on your input, or is it just the one? Yeah. I love that look. Yeah. Smart, Steve.
What about you? How did you get into helping people having, you know, self-improvement, self-development, confidence in themselves? What brought you?
It's been an organic journey. It really has, from helping people, like I said before, who are, one example was a lady who brought her son into me, who she was curious about if he could, you know, be agency ready and we could get him ready so he could work. And I told her, you know, actually your kid's cute, but you're the marketable one. And she thought I was crazy because she was, you know, 60 years old. She had scars going down her neck. She could barely speak because she had throat cancer and some operations. And I said, but you know what? You are so interesting looking and you sound so sweet, right? And she, of course, she got an A. Pardon me?
If somebody upsets me, I don't hide. I tell them.
Well, you are lucky that you have the confidence to do that, because so many people will shrink at that situation.
I never used to.
Well, she stood up and I told her that, and she got in my face and said, "You're just trying to scam me. You're just trying to take my money." And I said, "You know what? I will work with you for nothing, and I'll help you to get an agent, and I'll guarantee you that, you know, this industry will embrace you." Well, there's a whole story involved, but basically after, you know, 2 years later, she was working. She had developed a great business in modeling and doing print work. And she sent me an email saying, "You don't know this, but when I originally brought my son to you, I was so depressed. And I was so down in the dumps because I used to be an executive in a utility company known for my oratory skills. And when I met you, I had shrunk down to a person just wearing all black in a dark room and was losing everything. And I wanted to bring my son to you so that maybe he could make some money as a model so that he could take care of himself, because I planned on committing suicide."
Wow.
And just the fact that I challenged her to say, you know, you could do this too, that changed her life. And it wasn't anything that I did. It was she had this transformation of confidence. She didn't change her overall look. She didn't have to do any dieting. She didn't, you know, it was all about how she saw herself and was able to present herself. And that kind of helped me think, you know, there's so many people of a certain age that think that they're, like I said, their best days are behind them. And for me, I would hope to instill the fact that, yes, we're not 20, but we still have lots of value in what we can give people as far as knowledge. And if we hide behind the fact that we're afraid to present ourselves photographically or live to people because we're afraid of how we look, we're cheating those people that could really benefit from our knowledge and from our experience and from our gift and our blessing. Because people don't obsess about our photos. We're the only ones who obsess about them. I mean, there's this thing that we seem to think that we're, because we don't look like we want to, that we're not deserving of getting out there and helping other people. And so I really strive to teach people that let's get past that. Sure, present ourselves in the best way that we can as we are now. But, if that one photo is keeping you from writing your book or starting your business or putting out that website or whatever it is, that one thing is stopping you, I'm hoping that we could get over that, because there are some countries and some places where women, especially, by the time they're able to walk, they're thrown into these mines and they're made to work until they die. And there's no proof that they even lived. There's not a photo of them. Hundreds of thousands, millions of women, especially, who are treated like animals, and they're shunned and they're abused and they're mutilated and there's no photographic proof that they even lived. We're so lucky that we have the fact that we can put up a camera in our face and have a photo of ourselves, but yet we're so self-conscious about that because we have the freedom to be self-conscious. So I'm working with organizations like corporations and charitable organizations and even some governments to get into some places in some countries where we can provide photographic evidence of proof of life of women who otherwise would never have it. And when we go in there and we're able to shoot photographs and just to show a person their very first photograph they've ever seen of themselves, they're so grateful and they're so touched and they're so humble. There's no, oh my gosh, I look bad, I'm having a bad hair day. It's the only photo of themselves they'll ever have, the only proof of life that will ever exist.
It's not a photo that I find important to other people. Like, if I see somebody homeless on the street and it's a cold day and they look so down and depressed and, they've just about had enough, what do? Walk in McDonald's or Burger King or somewhere, go buy them a burger or a drink. If they've got fruit or a cake or something, I'll just buy them a bag full of stuff, and then I'll go back outside and I'll go, hi, you look a bit hungry. Think you can eat a burger? I'm really not very hungry myself. And they go, sure? And I go, yeah, you want it? It's all yours if you do. And they go, oh, thanks, thank you very much. And I go, no problem. I said, here you go, I'll sit down and have a chat with you while you eat. And I'll talk to them for a little while, and you just talk to them like they're your next door neighbour, like you've known them forever. And they open up and they talk to you. And they say, it was very nice of you to do that. And I said, well, you're not invisible, You are a person. You are a human being. Mm-hmm, and I do see you for what you are, and that's how you should see yourself too. Stop hiding in that corner until it's cold, and then you need the cardboard to cover yourself up with. You don't need to do that. Be brave and show yourself, and sooner or later you'll get yourself straight again. And he said, I really appreciate you talking to me. I said, it was my pleasure. It was nice to have a conversation with you, because a lot of these people just open up to you. Now, if I go away and take my hand or I get a hug and they gave me the biggest smile that they've ever given anybody for years, that makes my day. I've helped somebody just lift themselves up a little bit. Never mind me, just help them. Yeah, it's just them. If I've lifted their heart a little bit, then that smile is just precious. I just love that.
There's so many barriers that society sometimes puts between us and those who make us feel, I don't know, I hate to use the word uncomfortable, but sometimes we feel almost even guilty that there's this division, both maybe socially, financially, or even between us and the people who, we don't know how they got into the situation that they're in. Are there people who make bad decisions? Yes. Are there people who life just completely took over and put them in a position where they have, they're in these positions? I know people I've spoken to like you, Jilly, who I like this life. I chose this life. I want to be this way. I'm off the grid. I'm happy to be this way. I'm taking care of myself. I have people who love me. I just don't, I don't need a home to feel that way. And then there's those people especially those who are kind of mentally ill, who they really need some help, or at least like you're doing, to be able just to be treated a little bit human, and to let them know that there is somebody out there. I may not be able to take you into my home, but I could maybe, give you a bite to eat and talk with you for a while. You probably made that person's month just by doing that. So yeah,
I just
good on you.
It's nice to help somebody else, bring them up a little bit. It just makes my day. What about you, Eric?
What about me? What specific question do you have?
How did you get into helping people with the self-confidence and self-appreciation, self-improvement?
Okay. Well, for me, I come from a little bit different background and perspective to it. As a business coach, one of the things I've noticed, I help people grow their businesses, find new customers and new leads. And I noticed a trend back when I originally started working with clients. I would give the exact same advice to two different clients that were at about the same level in their business. And 6 months later, one of them would take their business from 6 figures to 7 figures or even higher. But the other one with the exact same advice would not do anything with it. They'd stay right where they were at. And I started really probing and looking at some of the commonalities. And because really the technical side of growing a business and making more money, it's actually very simple when you understand what to do. What most people fail at is getting themselves to actually do those things. And so I found a commonality among the ones that don't achieve the success financially or in business that they're otherwise capable of really boils down to their mindset. And so I began working with a lot of them specifically on their mindset, while at the same time, or even before, I would work with them in their business. And you find that I believe people have like a financial thermostat inside their head. And so they have a certain income number that just based on their self-confidence and self-worth, that they feel that I deserve this amount of money. Well, the interesting thing is if somebody externally, such as a business coach or somebody, comes in and helps them make substantially more than that, if they don't correct the mindset side of things, they'll start to self-sabotage, and they actually will bring themselves back down to that level that they feel like they're worthy of or they deserve. And it would confuse me and even frustrate me for the longest time till I figured this out. But once I did, I started obviously working on mindset issues with my clients, helping them to grow their belief in themselves, increase their mindset, view things from a much more abundant perspective. And then the business results became very easy after that.
That's cool. That's the right way. Mindset is everything with a lot of people.
Absolutely.
It's just it's like brain training, really, I suppose. Once you teach them how to retrain their brain and their perspective, then things start to turn around for them. I mean, God, I was like that years ago. I didn't believe half of what I heard, all the mails you get, you got to do this. It's the law of attraction. Well, get out of here. Why should I be attractive,
The law of attraction.
And I thought, what the bloody hell are they on about? What's the law of attraction got to do with being good at your business? I do my own books, I take the customer's money, I pay my bills at the end of the month. What has attraction got to do with all this? And I ignored so many.
Yes, I did hear you.
You can hear me?
And then,
shit.
I can hear you, Lisa. Yay.
I think I'm in shock.
Sorry, Lisa, but we all have to go now. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
But
well, boy. Okay. I'm not even moving. What microphone? I don't even know what mic I'm
I've got 15 mics.
Don't mess with anything. Leave it exactly the way it is.
Oh, wait.
You gone again?
No, you're there.
Oh,
You're
Jesus. Tilly. Tilly. Bad Tilly.
Donkey sing.
Okay, so wow. All right. So Juliet can't tune in because it's too loud where she's at, and that's unfortunate. And I believe that we were going to have who else? Oh, Teresa said that she might not be able to do it. So okay. So what had?
She's at a retreat. She said she'd try and get on if she could.
So, who else is here? Oh, Rob is here. Let's see. I would like to get somebody from our tribe here to come on. So, Steve, thank you for being here. I'm going to close you out. And we are going to talk about some self-confidence things here. Rob, if you're there, there he is. Rob, do you want to talk? You want to get in on this? We have an extra seat to talk about confidence today. You missed it, Rob. Technical difficulties. If I can have them, you bet I'm going to have them. And boy, did I have them. Okay, so I hope that, let's see, who was here that really wanted to hear Green Sparrow? I hope that she was able to stay because she was really interested in what we were going to talk about. So I wanted to talk about, I don't remember who came up with confidence. Might have been, was it you, Julie, that came up with the topic for today's talk? It was?
Yeah. I've been seeing a few people lately. They've been really down in the dark, just hate themselves, really. But echo. But it's just trying to lift them up a little bit, give them some confidence, a little bit of self-improvement. A few little exercises that they can do, just to improve their own well-being and their own mindset. Stop being so negative about what they're doing. Be more positive in what they love and what they want to do.
What do you think about? Do you believe that confidence can come from without, or do you think that it has to come from within?
Comes from within.
At the end of the day, it has to come from within, but I believe that the spark and some of the techniques and whatnot can come from without. And I think a lot of times people that really have very, very low self-esteem, they need someone to actually believe in them first before they can begin believing in themselves. I've seen this happen over and over where somebody just, they're so broken, they're so beat down by whatever circumstances have happened in their lives or things that they were told by parents or previous lovers and spouses, and they're in this such a low place that those of us who do have a little bit more self-esteem, that do have some tools or techniques, we can reach down and kind of bring them up. A lot of times, the core change has to come from within, but that spark can come from somebody reaching down and kind of trying to lift them up.
Totally believe that.
Somebody, maybe for the first time in their lives, somebody seeing value in them, where up to that point, no one else in their life has. I think that can be the spark that causes it to happen.
It's another good way. Before you can tell these people how to improve themselves at the end of the day, they've got to see that you are a good representation of that, that you believe in yourself. And if you show that, it's a very good representation of what you're trying to do then. If you can do that and inspire them to come on, that makes us better people. Yeah, and by making us better people, the more representation and encouragement we give them, and the better they come along. I mean, you got to stop thinking yourself as second rate. You know, at the end of the day, repetitive thinking just doesn't work. You just get stuck in that rut and you just can't get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to step out of that rut and step aside and go, oh, look, you know, I've missed something. I can do that.
Hello, awesome people.
And follow them, and then they follow you, and then they learn how to pick things up, and they do a heck of a lot for self-improvement just on themselves. So you've got to encourage them by showing that you can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you guys?
Well, not only before they can have that belief in themselves, they have to have belief that it's even possible for them. And a lot of times, your example or our example and our belief in them is what sparks that belief that it's even possible, or that they have any worth internally that can then be grown and built upon.
No, we all have businesses where we work online, and some of us do some offline stuff and things like that. I've always thought that the term "fake it until you make it" is completely not cool when it comes to experience. You can't fake experience, but I think it's completely cool when it comes to faking your confidence, because sometimes you have to put on a bravado in order to get to the place that you want to get to, in order to get the attention from the people that you need to get the attention from to get your business going. Because, you know, people who are marketing at a perceived higher level than you are likely not going to be attracted to the wallflower. Okay. So you kind of have to puff yourself up a little bit in order to approach, you know, maybe different JV partners, or if you're looking to partner up with somebody on a project or whatever. So I definitely think that there's a fake it till you make it relevance when it comes to confidence. And I always thought, you know, people really hate that. They hate that saying, but I think it's taken out of context. I think people are thinking, you know, you can fake knowledge, you can fake experience, and I mean, you clearly can't. You can for a little while, but it catches up with you. But you can fake confidence. And what I found is that a lot of times that fake confidence, once you get a little bit of success under your belt, will morph into real confidence. And then that's where the true power lies, because once you feel that true confidence, then you're just unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable. At least that's what I found in my in my coaching.
Well, I've seen something very similar. And again, talking about that concept of faking it until you make it, one of the keys is our physiology affects our psychology. And so just like the physical parts of faking confidence, like sitting more upright, having more posture, shoulders back, you know, making eye contact, all of these kind of things that somebody who's trying to pretend to be confident, well, guess what? When you take those kind of postures, literally your psychology changes. It changes your state. There's even some scientific studies done on this, a fairly recent study within the last year or so, where they took people and they measured their testosterone levels, both men and women. And testosterone is a hormone that does, you know, create some assertiveness and confidence in people. They measured testosterone levels when they had a very disempowering kind of physiology, shoulders slumped, looking down at the ground, that kind of thing. And then literally the only change they made was they told them to take a very confident kind of posture and pose and like a power position. And they measured their blood levels a few minutes later, and literally there was a measurable jump, like 20 to 30% jump in the testosterone levels in their blood. So it's not just a psychological change, an actual biochemical and hormonal change by faking
and that's
confidence.
A pretty significant number. That's a pretty significant percentage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That could make a lot of difference for people. Whether
it really can.
So we've all had a bad time. Some of us open up and some of us don't tell everybody anything. You know, it's just something that sooner or later we found our way past that hard time, you know, around all those blocks and the negatives that you come across. And then once you start doing well, then people are saying, what you doing? Oh, I'm doing great, I've just found so-and-so and it really works for me.
Yeah.
Really? Tell me about it. And then you do. So you've aspired to inspire other people.
Right.
And that's the way you bring yourself forward. And by bringing yourself forward, others come forward with you. That's great.
I have an interesting story about one of my students right now. We're working hard. She's a yoga instructor, and her dream is to travel the world and do private instruction, private yoga instruction with people in their homes. And so we're getting her to that level, but she's also got the side thing where she's been working with this MLM company, which is I think it's like Discount Travel or something like that. And just for the record, I have nothing against MLM. I think it's a legitimate business model when used correctly. So there's my disclaimer. Her problem is that she is not getting any of the support that she needs from her superiors, from her upline. And because she's not getting this support, she doesn't have confidence in the product. Because she doesn't have confidence in the product, that's projected to all of the people that she's trying to sell this product to. And this is something that I'm not coaching her on, but I could tell she was having some kind of a blockage. And so we did kind of an impromptu phone call yesterday. And I said, well, let's really get to the bottom of this. What's going on? And she said, I'm putting the messages out there. I'm doing everything that they're telling me to do in the way that they're telling me to do it. And I'm still not converting. And I said, well, because my first reaction was, well, go to your upline and tell them, hey, what am I doing wrong? And she said, well, I did that. And they just tell me it's a numbers game. You need to just, just keep doing it, contact more people, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, do you feel like you're being supported? And she said, no, I don't feel like I'm getting what I need. And I said, well, that's the problem. You're not getting what you need. So your conscience can't sell this with confidence because you don't have any confidence. You're not getting what you need, so you can't project that. I said, and she said, well, how do I know that what I'm doing with you is not going to end up the same way? I said, because you're not going to be relying on anybody but you to do this. You're not relying on an upline. You're not relying on a downline. You will probably, at first be relying on, affiliates and JV, partners and things like that. I said, but this is all you. And this is something that you can do because you already do it. So it's something that you already have confidence. And so the confidence was the common denominator, her lack or lack thereof. That was what was stopping her from converting this particular offer. And I thought it was really interesting how we talked that out and got to a place where it was like, oh, wait a minute, it's because you're not getting the support you need, so you don't have confidence in the product itself.
You got to support. You got to support. If you've got somebody that you're bringing into whatever kind of opportunity you've got, if you're going to bring these people in, you can't just bring them in and say, oh, you got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, you can't. You can't do that with. You can't do that with anything, any type of coaching, whether it's an MLM business model or anything like that. You just can't bring people in and then let them go. I mean, that's defeating the whole purpose.
It's all part of education as well. You've got to show them how to do it. And if they do struggle, encourage them to come back to you, because the more they come back, the more you'll engage with them and the better your team will
absolutely.
do. I mean, it's all about teamwork and encouragement, and by doing that, if they pick up and they go, oh, I did that bit you said I would, and I would, see, told you you
Yeah,
can do
exactly.
it. Okay, should we move on to the next step now?
Exactly.
And you really hit the nail on the head, Lisa, in terms of where her conversion problem lies. Because something that I teach is, I mean, conversion is all about persuasion, whether you're converting online via a landing page or a video sales letter, or you're converting on the telephone or offline face-to-face. It is all about persuasion. And my definition of persuasion and what I teach, that's the book. Outstanding book, man, right there, Rob. But what I teach is persuasion is a transfer of both belief and emotion in your product or service. And so if she didn't have that belief in her product, even if she said the exact right words, even if she played the numbers game her upline's telling her, subconsciously that lack of belief is going to transfer to her prospect, either in her tonality of her voice or whatever. Their subconscious mind will pick it up from her subconscious mind, and it'll destroy any potential for closing the sale. So if she doesn't have that core belief in her product or service, it doesn't matter.
I've put out a lot of products. I've been putting out products since 2009. And it took us a few years to learn this, but what happens is if I'm not totally behind a project, my husband will pick up on it and he'll just halt and he'll say, you know what, you need to figure out if you are you in this product? Because if you're not, your copy is going to suck. You're not going to be able to convert. You're not going to be able to get affiliates. So before we go through all that really, really hard shit, let's figure out if you're even in this, if your mind is even here. And a lot of times I just say, no, I don't want to do it. I don't believe in it. I'm not there. And so we pitch it and, we start something new. And it's amazing the launches that we had where I wasn't fully 100% in it. Boy, was it evident. It was evident in the lack of sales. It was evident in conversion numbers. It was evident in my follow-up. It was just like, blah, I don't want to do this, and most of us got into this business so that we could do exactly what we want to do. So not doing what you want to do is just bad. And there's just no need for it when there's just so many great things to do, no matter who you are or what you're into or what your niche is or whatever. Yeah, go, Rob.
Hey guys, yeah, I was going to say I've got like so much experience of this kind of scenario. In the past, I'm a bit of a mental anyway, and I kind of lost my mind completely when my ex and I split up, and I just was like totally in limbo. I'd had a successful business in the Midlands, and it was bricks and mortar, property, IT support, and web design and the like, and it was a business that was kind of like doing all right, but my head state was all over the place, and so I ended up like quitting everything, moving to Anglesey. I had nothing then. I stuck everything in my car. My car consisted of a bicycle, some old computer bits, and
Jake,
a guitar and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think these kind of things happen to us when we need to level up. It's like a message from the universe saying like, okay, this is as bad as it's going to get. It's time for you to kind of like challenge this. And I can apply that methodology to like making video too, because I can remember the first video I did in about 2010. And that was one of the typical kind of whiteboard type presentation, not whiteboard, sorry, slideshow, where you've got text and you're reading off of it. And I was absolutely bloody terrified when I did that. Yeah. So I think what the universe does is it gives us an opportunity to level up. Yeah. And for me, like today, that's what Blab was all about. I realized I've got to be doing this because things are working out okay on Facebook, but this adds another dimension that can take us a lot further, get us to interact and really build in wonderful relationships with the people that we meet online. So this is your call to level up, guys. You know,
Yeah.
and if you're feeling insecure, I'm not a very confident person. I'm very kind of introverted, but I think it's all down to practice. Yeah, and it's wonderful to meet you, Eric. By the way, I've known Lisa.
Hey, you too, Rob.
Yeah, I've seen your wonderful smiling face on Facebook. There's just something about that image when you post a picture of you. I mean, everyone's like, wow, but you do kind of like you give off the spot vibe that people pick up on, and that's a really wonderful thing. You know?
Thank you.
You're more than welcome, and it's awesome to be here. I mean, I've known Lisa since the Warrior Forum days,
Yep.
and I've always been pretty interested in whatever she's been up to. And I've known Jilly now for a year, and we met in person last year. Got like a mad kind of idea about a marketers retreat, which we should pursue again, which was the kind of
yeah, I haven't given up on it.
No, it was just a bit. Well, to be honest, I hadn't totally given up on it either, but I realised that I needed to focus on other things because I was just spreading myself too thinly. That's another thing, you know. I mean, that's kind of getting away from self-confidence and stuff. But yeah, I think mindfulness. I think, you know, I think, and Zen. You know?
Well, you know what, Rob? I don't think it is unrelated to self-confidence, because I think for a lot of people, that is one of the biggest things that dings their self-confidence is when they do spread themselves too thin, especially those of us with A-type kind of driven personalities. We want to achieve great things, and we set big, lofty goals for ourselves. Yeah. But because of that, we wind up spreading ourselves too thin. And as entrepreneurs, we get that entrepreneurial ADD, and we chase different bright, shiny objects. And when we don't achieve these great, big, lofty goals that we've set for ourselves, we get down on ourselves, you know, because we've bitten off more than we can chew or something like that. But if we would step back and really analyze it, we might have shot for, you know, $500,000 on our launch, and we only did 100,000, and we're beating ourselves up. Well, we just made $100,000, you know, or 5 or 6 years ago, we would have killed for that. I mean, and so exactly, it does definitely relate to confidence in a big
because
way.
It's all involved in balance. That's and right. That for an entrepreneur, wow, balance. I don't know if we ever achieve true balance between work and your physical, like your fitness, your financial fitness, your relationship fitness. Man, balancing all of that with work is so difficult. I mean, it's difficult for me.
Hey, Michael.
And my kids are, well, they're not here right now, but we homeschool, and so they're around all the time. And, you know, my husband and I are business partners, so we're all together all the time. And balance is challenging. It's challenging on a good day. And I think that's how it all ties in. You know, you have to have that Zen with the ADD, and then it goes, you know, then the scales are balanced. Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Also one thing that works for me amazingly. I mean, I suffered really badly from depression, and I think at one point on eZine articles, I ranked like the highest in the world for how to overcome major depression. You know, in those good old days when you could eZine articles, wow, you could work.
I miss those days, man. Love eZine articles.
Yeah, and where was I going with this? No, but a couple of things that really helped me. One was getting a pet, getting getting a dog.
Yeah, I would
Totally awesome.
agree with that.
And I think like just the very act of stroking a dog, you know, it kind of like takes all of that horrible, depressive vibe away from you. And if you're right, I mean, I see you doing this a lot, Lisa. And I love watching what you and your husband do, getting out into nature. I mean, I'm there myself.
I know you take photos. I love your pictures.
Oh, thank you so much. But it's such an important part of my day. I get out and I really do connect. I feel something, you know, and it's also a great time because you get like a load of ideas coming in. And
yep.
So,
and you know
I'm talking. Sorry.
That's really interesting that you say that, because when I went through my depression a couple of years ago, one of the things that I stopped doing was going out in the woods. And I was born and raised out in the woods. It's a part of my DNA to be out there. And I had forgotten that part of myself. And where was I going with this? Oh,
that connection.
Remember, what happens, and this is something that I teach people who come to me to get out of that depressive hole. One of the things that I teach them is a technique. And Eric, I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but I just call it look up. And thing is when you go for a walk, what I tell people is when you go for a walk, this isn't just any walk. You're not allowed to look down at the ground. That's not allowed. So you have to make sure you're on like an even road or something. You know, you can't be hiking in the woods, but you're not allowed to look down. You must look up. You have to notice the sky, the trees, the buildings, the clouds. And what happens is that when you look up, you cannot stay in your own head. You cannot stay in all of those dark, depressive, negative spaces. And when you notice things that are around you, your brain dumps dopamine, and that's exactly what you need to get yourself out of that place. It's one of the most powerful techniques that I teach is go out and take a walk, but you've got to look up. And every single person that has gotten off their ass and actually done that when they're in a space, and the hard thing is you have to do it when you most feel like not doing it. You just want to crawl under the covers and get and say, screw everything. You must get yourself up and out. And every single person that has taken the time to do it has come back to me and said, holy crap, I feel fantastic. And it's like, great, now go and live the rest of your day. You know, go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to say, and that's another reason why you get a dog, because animals, they have rituals. They expect. I mean, like Jake, every morning he knows the time that he's going to come out, and like if I don't take him out, then it upsets his ritual, and he's acting all kind of crazy for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like regardless what the weather is, you've got to get out there. And another thing that I'd say is, I love my old iPhone, the old iPhone 3. I must probably get a better one. I've got a Nexus 5 at the moment, but I take it with me everywhere. And the reason I take it with me is because I'm trying to look at everything, take everything in, look for anything kind of interesting and engaging, you know. I think originally that started off as just a means of getting engagement on Facebook, but now it's not. It's part of a ritual, and you know, it's awesome. All of a sudden, you know, I'm looking at some iron railings, and there's some ivy around this railings, and I'm like, wow, you know. If I wasn't looking out for this kind of stuff, I just miss it. So
oh yeah, absolutely. I take my phone with me not to be connected all the time, but because I don't want the people. I mean, I have a few people that follow me who are they can't get out. They're physically incapable of getting out to these places, and the pictures that I post mean so much. you know, and they say, thank you for allowing me to be there. That's why I take my phone, is because I don't want anyone to miss anything. If I see a great sunset, or if well, God knows I'm not early enough to see sunrise, but you know, if I see flowers blooming or you know, a cloud or whatever, God, I want to share that. I want to say, here, look at this, go out and find some yourself.
Absolutely. And you bring up a really interesting point there, Lisa, especially where it comes to some of this live streaming kind of video stuff. What really made me a big fan of Periscope is a few weeks back, I went to a concert with my daughters. I took my daughters to a concert here at the Alaska State Fair. And I thought, okay, while I'm at the concert, I'm just going to fire up Periscope and, you know, see who wants to listen along with the concert. And so I had it up there, and, you know, about 5 or 6 minutes in, and wound up with several hundred people actually watching the concert through Periscope, which was kind of cool. But one of the messages, and I'm getting a little teary-eyed just talking about it right now, somebody thanked me so much for sharing that, because he said that he's a shut-in and he lives, you know, he cannot get out and experience this kind of thing. And he was just so happy and touched that, you know, because I was sharing this, he got to experience it as well. And I mean, that was so special and meaningful to me. It made it totally worth, you know, just holding my phone up for, you know, 10, 15 minutes. I mean, my arms got a little tired, but it's so cool, the opportunity we have to do that with the technology today. Very exciting.
Well, this is my
beautiful beast. Oh, I love dogs so much.
What do you smell?
Oh, there you go.
What do you smell?
Okay. Like a big teddy bear.
Oh, my boys.
Go.
Jake always got a huge smile. Yeah. Mine always smiles when she's guilty about something.
Mine makes themselves scarce.
I think it's really cool how people are allowed now to have emotional support animals, and they can't take them into like restaurants because the only dogs that are allowed in restaurants are true service animals. But they can take them into places that wouldn't normally allow, like airplanes and hotels, things like that. And it gives them the confidence that they need to live like a normal person. You know, people who are so introverted or who have mental illness that where they can't go outside a house. You know, having a dog gives them the ability to not only get out, but to meet people. Because I know I cannot pass a dog on the street without saying hello to it. I'm physically incapable of passing a dog without petting it. Can't do it. And so I think that it's so awesome that animals help us so much with confidence, you know, and that's how I'm tying the whole animal thing into my confidence dog.
No, you make a great point about that, because that's absolutely true. I'm a veteran, an Air Force veteran myself, and I do some work with in volunteer work with wounded warriors. And a lot of military veterans that are coming home from overseas have post-traumatic stress just because of what they had to go through and experience. And we're finding the exact same thing with wounded warriors. These companion animals and support animals are incredible, because if you think about a soldier who's been in a combat situation, when they're over there in combat, they've always got a team with them. They've got buddies and other soldiers. They've got their back at all times. Well, they come back to the States by themselves, and they're missing that they walk into the ATM and they've always got their head on a swivel and they're just amped up and paranoid that they're going to be attacked. But by having that service animal in the back of their mind, it's just like having their combat buddy with them, that there's somebody that's got their back, and it's just transformative in the quality of their lives and in their confidence, and their confidence to reintegrate with peaceful society. It's just a beautiful thing.
Something I never even thought of. The fact that they're always in a group,
Is it? I mean, like our situation here in the UK is that we tend to lots of war veterans come back, or ex-forces people, and they end up homeless on the street. Is that something that happens? Is it kind of international kind of thing? Yeah, it's it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, why the bloody hell does it have to be like this? Why can't we all just get on?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I don't know. I think about it a lot, and I think that I don't know, might go all Illuminati on you, but about these people being in control of our lives, making us, keeping us in our place, And I think that's been going on for a long time. But then I'm totally barking, and I do get my tinfoil hat out every now and again because I'm worried about the EMFs that are hitting me constantly. No, I'm only actually joking there. That's not true. But sorry, I will shut up. In fact, shall I drop out so somebody else can come in?
Anybody wanna jump in here? Anyone? Bueller?
Anyone want
Oh, Juliet says she'll give it a try.
Juliet.
Great.
Awesome, Juliet. Catch you in a bit, guys.
So amazing.
Hey, great chatting with you, Rob.
Lovely to meet you,
you
Eric.
want to go, Rob? And I'll let Juliet in for a bit.
Yeah.
Come on, Juliet.
Come on, Juliet.
Rob, shut up.
There she is. Hey.
I'm in the bathroom in this cafe because it's so loud out there with all the street noise. But yeah, there were a couple things that I wanted to add about self-confidence I think are really important. Two things that have really, really helped me a lot is one, realizing that we're all equal. Nobody's better than anybody else, period. And I did a post about this the other day. One person who, say, is homeless, their smile could save someone's life, or would go on to invent some cure for some disease that saves millions of lives. So that person is, no one is more important than anybody else. So if you really get that, then that helps a lot with self-confidence.
Yeah.
And the other thing that has really been key for me throughout my life is being able to do things really easily and really well is non-attachment to the outcome. When I really care about the outcome a lot, it fucks me up big time, and I screw up. When I don't care, I've been able to do things I've never done before. Like a couple examples. There was one time I was at a party years ago, and somebody had like a putter golf thing on the floor, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you take a swing of it?" I don't care about golf at all, so I just went and did it. And they're like, "Wow, your stroke looked just like so and so, some famous woman in golf who I had never heard of." Another time years ago, I was traveling around, and I was inside. I'd been inside cooking and helping the mom at this house. Just when I was spending a year on the road, and I was helping this mom cook. And I went outside for a minute, and all the guys are outside, and they're taking hatchets and throwing them at the tree. Well, I've never thrown a hatchet at a tree. And so the guy that was my boyfriend at the time was like, "Why don't you try it?" And I didn't care about the outcome. So I just picked the hatchet and threw it, and it spun around and nailed it right on the tree. So I think that, I have incredible beginner's luck with things when I don't care about the outcome. Yep. So I think, even things that are important to you, if you can kind of pull back and not be attached to the outcome, and if you are, just go, what's the worst thing that can happen? And ask yourself that question, and really run through the scenario. What would be the worst thing that can happen? And you go, that's really not that bad. It's really not the end of the world. Yep. That can help a lot. That can help a whole lot. Yep. So,
great stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not going to stay on long because it's really hot in this bathroom. But I just wanted to jump on for a minute and throw those couple things in there.
No, that's great. Especially the concept that nobody is better than anybody else, because I think one of the root causes of low self-esteem is comparison. Comparing ourselves to other people. And in social media, it's horrible because everybody puts their best face forward and they share all of their success. At least most people share all of their successes and none of their weaknesses. Nobody has the authenticity and transparency, or at least very few people, to really put themselves out there. Like you and Michael did the other night. It was so beautiful. I mean, that to me was a very touching and special experience to be a part of. But most people put their best stuff out, and so we're always comparing ourselves to the best version of them and their glossy, airbrushed kind of self. And And that is so destructive to self-esteem that, so if you understand that nobody's better than anybody else, it doesn't matter what, their Facebook profile shows or anything, it really helps. Beautiful.
I think that's a problem with a lot of people who are trying to get started in business too, and I was telling a student this just the other day. I said, you're comparing their highlight reel with your behind the scenes, and you just can't.
Absolutely.
You just can't, because first of all, what they're saying could be patently untrue. I mean, it happens so much in online businesses. It's really kind of sick. Yeah. But you never know what people have to go through. And if somebody says, I had $1 million launch, they may have spent $900,000 or $999,000 on marketing. So it might not be as great as it seems. And
50% went to affiliates, 10% to the copywriter, another 10% to the JV manager, and it whittles down.
So, you can't compare what people do online with how you're doing things, because that's a sure way to just destroy your confidence. And that took me a long time to learn. I think it takes a lot of people a long time to learn. What, Julie?
There's no such thing as push button overnight magic. It's not there, So they all coming out with this crap, and a lot of it that you see is rehashed, crap from like 5 years ago, and all they've done is worded their sales page different, and the software that they're saying works doesn't work, and you try and get hold of them, and you say, "This don't work. What's missing? Oh, did you not get the upgrade? Hang on a second. You said this was $47. You're releasing it for $27.
Yep.
So now you're saying I need an upgrade? Yep. Well, yeah, there is one. That's going to be another $37. And will it work? Yeah, it'll work. We'll show you. Okay, so you spend another $37, and then you think, I don't know, there's something essential here missing. What's missing? Yep.
Yeah.
So get in touch with them and go, what's going on? This is your support desk. Show me. Over the shoulder video would be great, And they go, well, didn't you get the upgrade? Excuse me? There's an upgrade. Well, yeah, I did.
No, the other upgrade. The second upgrade.
Now what?
Yeah, some of it's just never ending. And that's the stuff that makes
$7, you get the lot. What?
Yeah, that's the stuff that makes the online marketing biz. Well, it's kind of like multi-level marketing. There are certain people who just don't do it right, and so everybody gets a bad taste in their mouth about it. And I've made mistakes. I will totally own that. I have made mistakes. I've been doing this for 6 years, made my share of mistakes. And, you just have to realize that, I don't even know what I was going to say. I totally lost my train.
Just the state of online marketing.
I don't know.
Well, and I mean, it's one of the reasons where I've never really tried to position and brand myself as an internet marketing kind of an expert. I mean, I'll speak at events and stuff from time to time. I spoke at Big Seminar for Armin Morin back in the day, and also I'll speak at the events. But I've got no interest in branding myself as a typical IM expert, because it's the whole industry is so, I call it marketing incest. You've got marketers selling to other marketers about how to marketing to other marketers. And it's just this circular kind of thing. And you've got people, some of them making a decent amount of money, most of them inflating and lying about what they're making, but they've never made any money teaching anything or selling anything other than how to make money. It's just, So I've never been interested in playing that game.
When I first got into this back in 2009, nobody told me that, the MMO or make money online niche was like the most brutal niche when it came to your peers. I didn't know that. So I just did it, I just did it. And I learned very quick making like AdSense websites, and I was making a few cents here, a few cents there. And it was enough to show me that like the system works. But I learned very quickly the money is not in doing that. The money is in teaching people how to do that. So what I did was I set about teaching people how to do that. And as my experiences progressed and as I branched out into different areas like Amazon or whatever, website building and things like that, that's what I offered my audience. I just kept learning new things and then solidifying my knowledge and making sure I knew what I was talking about. And then I would sell that knowledge.
That's the key. You knew what you were talking about before you sold it. You didn't just buy 3 ebooks and regurgitate their regurgitated crap and try to sell that. You actually went out and did it. So
no, exactly.
That's the difference.
And so that's, that's always what I tell the people that, that come to me for coaching now. I'm like, you have to have some kind of a special something, some kind of special knowledge, some kind of special skill set. You have to have something to build on, because I'm not going to teach you just to go buy something and then puke it out the other end so that other people can buy it. That's not exactly right. That's not how it works.
Well, I mean, one of my core philosophies and something that I drill into my clients very early on is money is a measure of exchange value. And that's really at the essence, the more value you create in exchange to the more people, the more money you're going to make as a natural consequence.
Right.
And it seems like so many people in the traditional internet marketing space, they completely lose sight of that concept. They get so focused on the short term. Yeah, I'm going to make a bunch of money with this launch, but they don't realize, but I'm going to burn my list and destroy my reputation and not deliver on the promises and all of that. If they would only flip the script and under promise and over deliver instead of over promising and under deliver, they would make so much more money long term. But they just don't get that mindset.
I have this term called, I have a concept called short money and long money that I teach. Exactly. The short money is buying something and then regurgitating it out. And then, you made 100 sales or whatever, but there's no longevity there. The long money is taking the long-term view of what you're doing, who you are, who you want to be perceived as, how you want to be branded, what do you want to be an authority in, what are you good at, what do you enjoy, what do you suck at, and what do you hate? Because God knows you don't want to do that if you're going to be in business for yourself. You want to do stuff you're going to like to do. Exactly. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, and it's the short money versus the long money. It's hard. It's hard to tell people in this business that they have to go a few months or a year with no success. There is no instant gratification. There's none. And I don't know how we morphed into this from comments, but it all ties together.
Well, I mean, back to where it does, I think, apply to confidence to a degree is, especially for new people getting into business, especially in the online space. We talked about comparing ourselves to others. Well, the real insidious part of human nature is a lot of times we're comparing our weaknesses to other people's strengths.
Yep, exactly.
We see this all of the time in business. People will have areas where they're strong in areas where they're weak in, but we're always looking at our weaknesses, comparing them to other people's strengths. Yes. And it's just devastating from a self-esteem standpoint.
Yep, and it really is.
And I've found if we want to map this to actually improving your self-esteem, some tips and techniques people can use to improve their self-esteem, it's not only to eliminate those kind of comparisons, but it's to really focus instead on as much time and energy on improving our weaknesses as it is on maximizing our strengths.
Yep.
And finding people, especially in business, finding people who are strong where we're weak and partnering with them. A lot of people look at like a Steve Jobs and think, oh, he was brilliant and visionary and he built this big company all by himself. No, Steve was the visionary, but Wozniak was the one who was the actual genius. And so you've got the dreamer and the doer. You see this in every kind of business, from Microsoft Yeah, Bill Gates was brilliant, but he was the dreamer, and Paul Allen, was his doer. Warren Buffett's got Charlie Munger. And so you'll see this in any successful person who's out there.
Yes.
They've got somebody behind them that backs up where they're weak. But a lot of people think they've got to do it all themselves. And so they beat up on themselves because, I've got these great visions and great dreams, but I never follow through with them. Yeah. It's not because you're lazy or you're a procrastinator or whatever label you want to put on yourself. You're just strong in the vision part. Go out and find somebody who's good in the execution part and partner with them. That's where success is going to come from. Hello, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi there. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
We can.
Now my dogs are barking. Hey, I've really enjoyed the discussion this afternoon. And just getting out of a bad MLM situation myself, Lisa, where I wanted help and people were like, oh, well, you've just got to do this or that. And they didn't know what they were doing. So that was kind of interesting. And then I have friends who are in relationships that are so negative to them, and they are down in the dumps. And so I kind of am the one that is the little spark plug in my little group, and always looking for ways to make them feel good and just bring them up. Mm-hmm. We were talking about different information products or different, what do you do kind of thing. And let's see, I've been in business since 2001. I have like 25 years of experience working in corporations, developing training for global companies. And so I always told everybody if I had a little money, I'd be dangerous. And so in 2001, I was working for American General in Houston, and they got bought out by AIG. And so took the money, started my own business, and have not looked back since then. Basically, I'm an instructional designer. I develop training. I have a big old background in, education. I'm a third generation educator and, been there, done that. But I love teaching with technology and helping people to solve problems. And so in 2005, I got tired of going to the same old training conventions, online training is going to be the thing of the future. Hello, I've been doing it for 20 years. How ridiculous. So I wanted to, in Armin Morin, my first event that I went to was with Stephen Pierce in 2005 at Unleash Your Marketing Genius. And it's fun because everybody kind of had this thing about repackaging and selling some stuff. And what I wanted to do was take what I did best, which is developing training, and create my own stuff. And so since 2005, I've helped hundreds of business owners across the U.S. to get federal certification. And, I just don't feel right if I don't feel good about a product. And, Lisa, when you were talking about when people are in multi-level marketing, for example, and they don't feel confident about the product, makeup is nice, but my whole life does not revolve around if I have my makeup on. Obviously, I don't right now. And so, so many of the things. Well, we've been on this is our second blab for the day. So, this is really good. I love this format. I'm not quite ready though to put it into my online community, but I do love having this community online and being able to share. So I've been on to way too long, but anyway, thanks for inviting me and hope that you learned a little bit.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
So guys, I know I got a late start. I mean, it took me half an hour just to get my freaking mic working. So I have to remember, I just looked around because I was like, oh my God, I have to remember what I did. And I used my camera's mic. So there we go.
Perfect.
So I am going to hop off. I don't know if you guys want to stay on, but I have to go and visit with a neighbor real quick. So thank you so much for joining in and being here and giving of your experience and your knowledge and of yourselves. I appreciate it so much. And I'll have this replay done, and then we can shoot that out to here and there and everywhere. And let's, I would like to try to do something like this at least once a week, where we have a different topic that we just all kind of blab about.
That'd be great. I'd be in.
Yeah. Okay, cool. How about you, Jilly?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing on mine.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking, I love this platform so much. And I was thinking, okay, we could do, just me personally, you could do interviews, you could do your view of this and that and the other. I mean, there's just so much you can do with it. And I absolutely love that they showcase the blabs that are live right now when you log in, so that you can kind of pick and choose. And it, honestly, from a marketing perspective, it opens up an enormous amount it gets me so excited, because you can now connect with people that you would never have gotten a chance to connect with before. And it's because you can see what they're talking about. And if that's something that you know something about, then bam, there it is. And to me, that just excites the hell out of me from a marketing perspective.
It's a great way of meeting new people and learning new, what I call golden nuggets. You've heard me say this before. But, it's great. I mean, I was on Rob's this afternoon, and there was some awesome golden nuggets in there. And I said, it was like a rainbow, finding that pot of gold at the bottom, And it was really great. And you listen to other people, and they just keep popping in and out, and you think, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And it tells you something you didn't know, and you think, fantastic, something else I've learned, bloody hell, have I been doing this 35 years, and you still learn something every day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's really cool.
It's all very well keeping up with new technology, but other people's belief and a certain way around some things, you found difficult, that they found easy. Fantastic. It's a great way of learning.
Yeah, I think so.
It goes back to what I was talking about earlier about money being a measure of exchange value. Yeah, we're not actively monetizing this. I didn't ask anybody to go to my website and subscribe or hire me or anything like that. Right. But all of us are trying to deliver a tremendous amount of value. Right. And you know what? Those who resonate with our individual messages, they'll find us elsewhere. And if they want to engage further, but this is all about just delivering that value. And then that's what I love.
There's nothing to say that you couldn't do one of these blabs for 2 hours and then say, hey, you know what? If you're interested, if you resonate with me and you're interested in what I have to offer, go to this web address. I mean,
absolutely.
There's nothing stopping you from doing that. So, okay, guys, I got to sign off.
All right. Great having you. I'm glad you did this, Lisa, and I'm glad you had this. I look forward to these. I want to do something that Joel Comm kind of taught me to do. And since we've got 16 people here, those of us, because I've got to hop off too, but it's called a flash blab. And I looked, and there's this guy with some blab about National Cheeseburger Day. He's only got 3 people. And so when this closes, if we all click on that link, and he'll have 10 or 15 people jump into his blab real quick. It's a fun, cool. It's like a flash mob, but on blab. And Joel does this. It's so fun. Right. So if everybody, when we wrap this up, if we want to flash blab this cheeseburger guy, it'll make his day. So
let's do it.
It's great being on here.
Thank you so much. What a great idea.
See you soon.
On National Cheeseburger Day Blab.
Click on that link and let's flash blab the cheeseburger guy.
Okay.